For the past few years, Tadej Pogačar has been cycling's golden boy, a Tour de France champion, a monument crusher, and a man who makes climbing the hardest mountains look like an afternoon ride to pick up some croissants. But now, in 2025, he has decided to step outside of his comfort zone and take on the cruelest, most unforgiving, most break-breaking race in cycling history. Paris-Roubaix, and let's be honest here, this might just be the biggest mistake of his career. The truth? He is entering a race that is quite literally designed to shatter him. The cobbles won't care about his FTP, the Arenberg forest isn't impressed by his wattage, and Mathieu Vanderpole, well, let's just say the reigning champion isn't exactly shaking in his carbon-soled shoes, especially after already beating him once this year. 1. Paris-Roubaix is not just another monument. Pogacar has made a habit of winning monuments like a collector finishing his rare stamp collection. Liège-Bastogne-Liège, check. Tour of Flanders, check. Strade Bianca, oh, that was just a casual ride where he destroyed the field solo from 50k's out. But Paris-Roubaix, this race is an entirely different beast. No climbs, no long sustained efforts where he can just drop his rivals and float away like an angel in UAE Team Emirates white. Instead, Roubaix gives us 26 sectors of merciless cobbles, each one shaking every last molecule of comfort out of riders' bones. Unlike a mountain stage where Pogacar can rely on his explosive accelerations, the Hell of the North demands raw power. A perfect bike handling skill set, and most importantly, a level of suffering beyond what Tadej has ever experienced. Oh, and did we mention that he might have to sprint in a velodrome against Mathieu Vanderpole? Yeah, good luck with that. 2. Mathieu Vanderpole owns this race. Let's get real, if Pogacar thought keeping up with Vanderpole on the Poggio at Milan-San Remo was tough, wait until he sees what happens when Mathieu Vanderpole decides to light up the cobbles. Vanderpole has already won Paris-Roubaix twice, including a historic solo victory in 2024 where he made the hardest ride in the world look like a Zwift session. He thrives on cobbles, he lives for them, he rides like they're tarmac while others bounce around like crash test dummies. And if history tells us anything, it's that when Vanderpole decides to go, nobody is stopping him. If Pogacar thinks he can just hang on when Mathieu Vanderpole launches one of his patented all-out nuclear attacks, he might be in for a rude awakening. Let's not forget that Pogacar's biggest weapon is his ability to climb on attacks. Guess how many major climbs are in Paris-Roubaix? That's right, 0. 3. The dangers of Roubaix, the race that spares no one. If the cobbles aren't enough, let's talk about crashes, punctures, mechanicals, and sheer bad luck. Paris-Roubaix is famous for deciding winners based on who doesn't get a flat tyre at the worst possible moment. Pogacar, for all his talent, is not used to the randomness of Roubaix. One small mistake, a slip at the wheel, a poorly timed bottle grab, a patch of loose stones, and boom, race over. Unlike the Tour de France, there are no long climbs to slowly gain back lost control. If you lose the front group in Roubaix, you are never seeing them again. Vanderpole, meanwhile, thrives in these conditions. He has the instincts of a cyclocross champion, the balance of a tightrope walker, and the ability to bunny hop over chaos like it's nothing. Pogacar, he's great at dodging crashes on alpine descents, but when it comes to rough terrain, he's stepping into Mathieu Vanderpole's kingdom. 4. Why did Pogacar even enter this race? Some people say he entered out of curiosity, others claim it's about legacy, but the truth is, he probably entered out of pure frustration. After getting dropped by Vanderpole at Milan-San Remo, Pogacar is desperate for revenge. He doesn't like losing, and when he does, he tends to show up at the next big race, determined to make up for it. But here's the issue. Paris-Roubaix does not care about emotions. It is a heartless, soul-crushing, spine-destroying machine. Tadej probably thought, hey, I smashed the cobbles at Tour of Flanders, so why not Roubaix? But Flanders and Roubaix are not the same thing. At Flanders, he had climbs to attack on. At Roubaix, he has cobbles that make climbing skills irrelevant. At the end of the day, Roubaix isn't about who has the best legs, it's about who survives. And when it comes to pure survival, Vanderpole is built different. 5. The final prediction. What will actually happen? Best case scenario for Pogačar, he survives the cobbles, makes it into the final selection, and somehow finishes in the top 5 without getting hit by the deck. Worst case scenario, he suffers multiple mechanicals, gets dropped on the Arenberg, and spends half the race cursing the very existence of Paris-Roubaix while Vanderpole solos to yet another victory. The most realistic scenario, he fights hard, suffers like never before, but ultimately learns a harsh lesson that Paris-Roubaix is a race that belongs to the pure cobbled specialists. Will he regret entering? Maybe not immediately. He is a fighter and he loves a challenge, but when he finds himself chasing Mathieu van der Poel alone on the Carrefour d'Abre, wishing he was anywhere else in the world, he might just have a moment of doubt. Paris-Roubaix is called the Hell of the North for a reason, and in 2025, Tadej Pogačar is about to find out why. What do you guys think is going to happen? Because one way is going to happen. I am really interested to see what you guys think, so please, before we head into the next section of today's video, add your opinions in the comment section on who you think is going to win and how you think Tadej Pogačar is actually going to do. Now let's break down this brutal race, starting with the basics. 260 Ks. That's almost 6 hours of absolute hell for even the fittest pros. But wait, it's not just a simple long ride, oh no. The average elevation gain of 1,500 meters sounds like a peaceful day in the Alps, right? Wrong, because while that might seem low for a mountain stage, and it kind of is, remember, it's all about the cobblestones. Those cobbles will grind away at your body as if they're designed by an angry god who had a personal vendetta against smooth roads. Every bump will remind you that you're not in the Tour de France anymore. Now let's talk about sectors. Over the course of Paris-Roubaix, there are 26 sectors of cobblestones. Some are short, some are long, but all are pure evil. And when I say cobbles, I'm talking about uneven, jagged, medieval stone paths that feel like someone decided to pave the road with torture devices. To put this into perspective, the toughest sectors, Arenberg, is 2.4 Ks of sheer suffering. It's a kind of place where you'll wonder if you signed up for a bike race or a medieval execution. For Pogačar, who's used to climbing like a human rocket, surviving this section will make him feel like he's piloting a space shuttle through a meteor storm, except the meteor is a giant rock that will rip your tires apart. The race itself is notorious for its unpredictability. You think you're safe, sitting in the peloton, letting others take the lead? Nope. Roubaix has this magical way of reducing men to mere mortals, with punctures, crashes, mechanicals, and flat tires keeping things interesting, or horrifying depending on your point of view. One small mistake, like not grabbing your bottle properly or misjudging a corner, and boom, your race is over. That's the fun of Roubaix. The cobblestones themselves demand a different kind of skill, bike handling. Forget about watts per kilo or anaerobic threshold here. Roubaix is about your ability to survive the terrain and get through the endless chaos of slipping, sliding, and bouncing around like a human pinball. In short, Paris-Roubaix is a survival test, not a race for the strongest. And while Pogačar might try to bring this Tour de France mindset to the race, he might quickly learn that cobblestones don't care about climbing stats. The 2025 edition will likely leave Tadej with a new appreciation for how tough the Hell of the North really is, especially when Van der Poel is just waiting to drop him. Leave a like on today's video and subscribe to stay up to date with this race, as I'll be covering it here on this channel.